The world has witnessed many criminals, but only a few have crossed all limits to become symbols of terror and crime. They committed horrifying acts that terrified millions, and some managed to evade justice for years. In this video, we will uncover the top 10 most dangerous criminals in history and dive into the terrifying details of their crimes. 10. El Chapo. El Chapo is one of the most dangerous drug lords in history. He led the Sinaloa cartel, one of the largest and most violent drug trafficking organizations in the world. He controlled the cocaine and heroin market in the United States for decades, amassing a fortune worth billions of dollars. He escaped from prison twice, in unbelievable ways. One time through a secret tunnel under his cell. He was responsible for hundreds of crimes, including murder, kidnapping, and political corruption. Using violence and military tactics, he remained in power. Finally, in 2016, he was captured and extradited to the US, where he was sentenced to life in prison. 9. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is one of the most infamous serial killers in American history. He was charming and good-looking, which helped him deceive his victims easily. He murdered over 30 women in the 1970s, but the real number could be much higher. He tricked his victims by pretending to need help or by posing as a police officer, then attacked them brutally. He escaped from prison twice and continued killing before finally being caught again. He was executed in 1989 in the electric chair, but he remains one of the most terrifying killers in history. 8. Pablo Escobar. Known as the King of Cocaine, Pablo Escobar led the Medellin cartel in Colombia. He dominated the drug trade in the 1980s, making an enormous fortune that ranked him among the richest men in the world. He was responsible for smuggling over 80% of the cocaine into the United States. Escobar built a private army to protect him, and was known for his extreme ruthlessness. He ordered the assassinations of judges, journalists, politicians, and even pilots who refused to cooperate. He was killed in 1993 during a major security operation, but his bloody legacy in the crime world remains. 7. Jack the Ripper. This serial killer is one of the biggest mysteries in history, as his true identity was never discovered. He carried out a series of gruesome murders in London in 1888, targeting women in poor neighborhoods. He killed his victims in horrific ways, often mutilating their bodies after death. The police never managed to catch him, making him a legend of crime. His murders spread terror in London and have inspired countless theories and stories. Even after more than a century, Jack the Ripper remains one of the most debated criminals of all time. 6. Charles Manson. Manson was not a murderer himself, but he brainwashed a group of young followers to kill for him. He created a bizarre cult and convinced his followers to commit brutal murders under the belief that they were starting an apocalyptic race war. He had complete control over his cult, making him a symbol of pure evil. He ordered the killing of famous actress Sharon Tate and several others in horrific crimes in 1969. He never showed any remorse and considered himself a prophet. He was sentenced to life in prison and died in 2017. Harold Shipman. A doctor turned serial killer. Shipman is one of the deadliest murderers in history, using his medical profession to kill patients without being caught for years. He murdered over 200 people, mostly elderly patients. He went unnoticed for a long time because he was a respected doctor in his community. He committed suicide in prison in 2004 after his crimes were finally exposed. Known as Dr. Death, he remains one of the most terrifying serial killers in history. 4. Andrei Chikatilo, the monster of the Soviet Union. Chikatilo committed over 50 murders between 1978 and 1990, primarily targeting women and children. He lured his victims from public places to isolated areas. His killing methods were exceptionally brutal, as he enjoyed torturing his victims in gruesome ways. He was finally caught after years of investigation and was executed in 1994. Known as the Rostov Ripper, he is one of the most horrific serial killers in history. 3. Albert Fish. One of the most sadistic serial killers in history. Fish committed shocking crimes primarily targeting children. He confessed to killing and torturing multiple children in inhuman ways. He had extreme sadistic tendencies and took pleasure in causing suffering. He was eventually caught and executed in 1936. But his story remains one of the most disturbing ever told. 2. Pedro Alonso Lopez. Known as the Monster of the Andes, Lopez is one of the most dangerous serial killers in South America. He murdered over 300 people, mostly children. He preyed on homeless children, luring them with false promises. Shockingly, he was released in 1998 after serving only 14 years in prison, and his whereabouts remain unknown. 1. Luis Garavito. This man is considered the most dangerous serial killer in history. He killed over 190 children and confessed to more than 300 murders. He exploited poor homeless children, luring them into traps before brutally murdering them. He was captured and sentenced to prison, but due to Colombian laws, he could be released one day. These criminals were not just lawbreakers, they were human monsters who left behind terrifying stories. Their crimes continue to shock and haunt the world, serving as grim reminders of the darkest sides of human nature. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thrilling content.